Hey Zen fan, let's talk E3 Day 1 and a little bit of Day 0. So let's get that Day 0 stuff out the way first of all. Right, so we had Jeff Keighley doing his Summer Games Fest thing, a bit of a shorter thing than obviously last year, but it went on forever and stretched out with the tentacles everywhere, just doing covering everything and just never really focusing in. And was just a nightmare to cover for yours truly and anybody like me. One evening, bunch of stuff, most of it quite acceptable, you know, not hugely focused. Biggest news story of that, of course, was, you know, Kojima coming out and going, I'm doing a director's cut of Death Stranding. And as much as I love Death Stranding, I was like, I didn't want to do that again, especially not a longer version. You know, that game was long and I loved it, but yeah, I think I had my time with Death Stranding, so moving on. Then there was Koch Media. Oh Jesus. Oh, that hurt. It was long, it was rambling. Every interview went on for like about 1 million years, and most of the interviews, realistic speaking, in real terms, nothing was said. It literally was just emptiness. People rattling on forever. And then almost no gameplay, and it was like a couple of trailers here and there. But most of those trailers, not only were they very, very short, with no gameplay in them, and were basically just on loop, with the person yammering on forever and a day. Now, the woman that was presenting it, I'm sure she's lovely, and she had a bit of help with Keighley, but it's just like, oh god, oh god, oh, it was horrible. And I had to watch it for you guys, you know, because that's what I do. I watch these things for you, to review them for you, so then you can decide whether or not you want to go back and watch them yourselves later. Don't. Koch Media, leave it alone. It's no worth it. It's no worth it, Dave. Oh, what a mess. Okay, so Day 1, E3 2021. Pops up, you got your Greg Miller and What's Her Face. I can't mind because it's like after 2 o'clock in the morning and my brain's fried. Because I've been trying to catch up on all the little bits I didn't see during it, you know, because there was bits and pieces made and like, you know, getting some deeper dives and stuff. So it's taking a while to get this done and setting up the room and blah 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 blah. Anyway, you don't need all that. So we get you Greg Miller, we get your What's Her Face up on stage, and they've got this big thing behind them that looks like it's a piece that's fallen off a spacecraft, and it actually looks kind of cool. And they're talking it up, and they show their panel that they've got in the other room. They've got some cool people on that. You got your Damon Hatfield and stuff, and I forget his name, but he's Blessing Adeoye Jr.'s flatmate and all the rest of it. And, you know, did some interesting stuff and rolled in nicely with videos and that, and they had, you know, the pre-show for Ubisoft and then the main show, which I'll talk about later. You know, we had bits from Devolver Digital who admittedly weren't part of the proceedings but were going on. There was a VR showcase that wasn't part of the proceedings but also went on. Both shows were fairly acceptable, you know, except, you know, the Gearbox, it is kind of a bit hard because, you know, Randy Pitchford is something of, shall we say, a divisive character. USB stick! You know, it's like, and he thinks he's cooler than he is, and he's not really cool at all. In fact, he even has had something of a scrappy relationship where he's trying to take down Starling, and Starling took him down, and even like did this interview a couple of years back with like Ryan McCaffrey and IGN, and like he tried to make it that, like, you know, he didn't ken who Starling was, but he's like, you know, this guy's got a thing with him and that. It's like, it's also very, very try hard. It's like, yeah, whatever, pal. So it's, and basically it was just mostly him standing about on a film set going, hey look, I'm making a film happen, aren't I amazing? And they're going, no you're not, mate. The film's happening because the game is popular, and there's a bit of a thing going on in Hollywood these last couple of years of really trying to make video game movies happen, you know. and we'll see if they can finally crack it with this one. I mean, they kind of sort of cracked it with Assassin's Creed movie. You know, they took a recent crack at it with the Tomb Raider movie, and you know, so on and so forth. There've been a couple of game movies here and there, like the Mortal Kombat one. You know, there's sort of things right bit and things wrong there. You know, as is with all movies, but video game movies, it's hard to do video game movies because video games are these long, expansive things where you're involved, whilst the movie is a shorter thing, and you sit down there and you consume it, and you have no input upon it. So it's a very different, entertainment property animal type dealy, what's it we call it. So yeah, video game movies have got a ways to go before they'll ever truly work, but they're making a Borderlands one. I was figured they'd give us a bit more details on Tiny Tina's Wonderland. Not so much. We've got a couple other details of this and that here and there, but mostly, you know, it was just Pitchford showing off, and at one point standing there talking to Kevin Hart. You know, so you know that was what it was, and there was this bit here and that bit there, but mostly it was just fairly standard fare. There was nothing that really was mind-blowing about it. And the main part I was waiting for, which was closer to the beginning than it was to the end, was Ubisoft, which I'll come to later. But the one thing that got me was towards the end of it, there was some talky bits. And I like a talky bit. I like a good sort of dev chat or whatever, or a debate. You know, those can be interesting. But sometimes they spring up videos in their own right. Like there was this nice wee video they had where like Jeff Grubb and another bloke were talking about, you know, classic E3 moments. You know, like the time when like Sony released the PS3 and they had a guy who talked forever about a lot of stuff and it was actually kind of a bit dull. And then the next guy comes up and just says $3.99 and blows Sega out of the water. You know, that was a classic moment. Or Reggie Fils-Aimé going up, my body is ready, and all that jazz. And yet of all the moments they showed, they never showed Kevin Butler with his fantastic speech about gaming. You know, with the whole thing of like, gaming is about having a gigantic TV in a tiny one-bedroom apartment. Gaming is about staying up to 3 AM to earn a trophy that doesn't exist but does. None of that. Bunch of other things, but not that. At least in the centre or giant end of crap. Oh dear God. Kaz and I, mate, I feel for you on that one, pal. What were they thinking, gave you that to say? And Ridge Racer! God. Anyway, so like, yeah. There was these discussions, like there was an interesting one with Gary Witter and a couple other people, and that proved to be quite good, and I was listening to that while I was going through some Twitter and Facebook, and then there was another one where I did the same again. It was just talking heads, and the woman said that they were going to be talking about like depression and mindfulness and sort of like, you know, sort of healthy mental attitudes and stuff, and looking after yourself and your mental well-being, you know, within the field of gaming. And I perked up at this point, thought, oh, that's going to be interesting. I think I might stop scrolling Facebook and actually watch this one. And then she read off the people who were on the panel. And when there was that Sarkeesi's woman, I just like, my heart sank. I was just like, really? Her? She's just so divisive, and she just doesn't provide anything to the discourse. She basically just like went, you're bad and you're bad and you're bad. And she complained about things that don't actually exist. Now, don't get me wrong. There are many things that need to be fixed in gaming as in society. There are many, many numpties out there who believe some really dumb stuff that I personally have railed against on this channel and on Twitter and all the rest of it. You know? Everybody should be able to enjoy life and enjoy gaming. You know? I don't care if you're bi, if you're gay, if you're female, black, Chinese, it doesn't matter. You're a gamer, that's an idiot to me. You're a human, that's an idiot to me. But honest to God, when she opens her chat, I change the channel. I go to another video. I mute the content. I go away. I just can't be dealing with that woman. You know? The other panels, great, fantastic. Yeah? But that one, no. Because she just talks at a hole in her head and just causes trouble, and she could just day one. But the main thing I was there for, the main focus of my day for that was, as I've said before a couple of times now, the Ubisoft show. And I was right up for it. Now, you know, it wasn't 100% perfect. I mean, there was some really weird decisions made. I mean, they showed a whole big advert for their subscription services. Like, yeah, because that's what gamers really want to see E3. They want to have an advert shoved down their necks. Yeah, for a subscription service. Yeah, good move. And then there was like this ad made for the TV series that I just don't seem to want to let go of. There's 3 E3s in a row now. You know, obviously last year there wasn't one, but the previous 2 E3s, they showed up this advert for this TV show thing, you know, on Apple TV Plus or whatever it's called, for this fake game development studio that doesn't exist. And it's just like nobody cares. Nobody cares. It's like, but you will not let this concept go. And you keep trying to make this TV thing happen, Ubisoft, and it's not happening. It's no happening. Nobody cares. Put it this way, right? You're putting it on Apple TV Plus. When was the last time anybody at you there in the Zenfile, or anybody new that stumbled across this video, when was the last time, honest to God, that you heard somebody say, "Oh, I watched that really interesting thing last night on Apple TV Plus"? Did you hear that? No. You know what you did hear when somebody said something of that nature? "Oh, I saw this really cracking thing on Netflix." "Oh, have you watched the new Marvel thingy on Disney Plus?" It's like, "Oh, I saw this cracking movie on Amazon." Because those 3 services are global, they're not too expensive, and they're fairly ubiquitous. You know, it's like those services have got their household names. You know, Apple TV Plus, most people didn't even kind of exists. You know, and if you didn't have a service, you know, and you've put a program that nobody really gives a toss about, not even gamers, then, you know, it's not going to do anything. Now, on the flip side of that, they showed a movie trailer that actually looked like it was going to be a bit of a giggle. But they missed the boat on that one as well, because they said it's going to be on streaming services. Aye, but what one? You know, did you provide a date? No. Did you provide what streaming service it's going to be on? No. You just gave us a trailer. And to be fair, the trailer was a little bit long. But it still looked like a giggle, so if it comes on my Amazon or my Netflix, both of which I've got access to, then yeah, I'll watch that. It's like, yeah, give it a bash. It might not be good, but it's, you know, nothing ventured, nothing gained. But Ubisoft, as I said, was the main focus. So they chucked out an Avatar game. I was like, Avatar? Wow. Talk about like 10-year ago property. I mean, yes, okay, for the last 5 years we've had, oh, James Cameron's doing another Avatar. Yeah, sure it is. Aye. And it's like he keeps talking about it. It never happens, and I don't think it ever will. And I don't think I really care anymore. I mean, Avatar was fine back then, but when you get right down to it, it's basically just, you know, cowboys and Indians with a little bit of an eco twist. That's really what Avatar is. Blue Indians with an eco bent. Well, it's alright, but, you know, I don't know if it's enough to spend millions upon millions of dollars on, you know, to make an entire franchise out of. What else was there? There was another Rabbids Mario game, which I didn't see coming. In fact, if anything, I said there wouldn't be a new Rabbids game this year in my prediction video. Well, how wrong was I? And a Mario one as well. I didn't think there'd be too far another one of those for at least another year or two, because it wasn't that long since the last Mario Rabbids game. But then again, it was successful and money talks, so there you go. Far Cry 6. That looks rather good, actually, I have to say. I mean, I saw lots of it in the pre-show, and yeah. I mean, there's a couple aspects that we're really going to have to nail down. Like, the mission structures are going to have to be more interesting than previous Far Cry's, because the last one I played was 4, and as fun as 4 was in the beginning, really sagged in the middle. It just felt rather sort of empty, and you know, I don't know, it never really grabbed me, that game, and I don't think I finished it. And I'm a finisher. What else? There was like a Rocksmith. I was like, this is a bit weird, you know. It's like, don't get me wrong, I mean, the Rocksmith technology is still used to this day by a lot of small people who want to be able to put music on a computer but don't have access to all the fancy schmancy gear. So they use the Rocksmith stuff and do that and use that. And the Plus, you know, this new version is very fancy and very clever, and I'm sure will do many interesting things and probably does help people learn an instrument, but it just didn't seem like it fitted an E3, much like the movie and TV content, and didn't really seem to fit in E3. It just wasn't gaming. At least the subscription stuff was a gaming subscription, you know, but it just didn't seem very gaming. And then there was like older properties. It was sort of like another Siege game. And it's like, really? Rainbow Six Siege? And then it was just actually turned to be additional content for like a 5-year-old game now? And I'm like, yeah, 5-year-old game, more content, that's a tweet. That's a video on YouTube sometime. Going, hey, look what we're doing. You know? Same as with For Honor. Game that, as far as I'm aware, not very many people play, but Ubisoft do seem to be in love with it. I mean, the ideas of how you control this sort of stuff sound great, but in practice, it's a slog. And I'm like, nah. But they won't let it die. They just keep every once in a while bringing up more maps and another character and a few more weapons and a couple more cosmetics, and that game just keeps on pumping away. Obviously, there must be like somebody in the family who really loves that game, and therefore the game's going to do well because of that. It's going to get all the funding. Dear God. And of course, Just Dance was there. This is a bloke I've never heard of. Yeah, Just Dance being Just Dance. We didn't see anything from it, so we don't know if it's made any graphical improvements or any improvements in how it sees you and stuff. And I'd be curious to know how it works on 9th gen consoles, because like the PlayStation 5 has a camera, but the Xbox X and S, as far as I'm aware, do not. And it relies upon the camera technology of the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4, because the Xbox One has the, you know, you're able to use the Kinect with it, I believe. If you get the original model Xbox One, you can connect to Kinect to it. And of course, you know, the PlayStation 4 has the PlayStation camera. And you know, the PlayStation 5 does have the HD camera, so there's a camera set up there. So it'll be interesting to see how that works for the Xbox Series systems. What else did they have? They had that Track Mania or something, I think it's called, the one with the mad sort of Formula 1 cars doing crazy flips and stuff. And now they've sort of turned it into sort of like an F1 inspired version of Fall Guys. where like you've got bright coloured cars on bright coloured courses with turny bits and swivelly bits and bits that knock you off and stuff while you're trying to go round at like 200 mile an hour. And it's like, I'm sure that's fun for some people, but I'm not touching that my 10-foot cattle prod. It just looks like stressing a plate at not for sale bloke. Oh god, no. But one of the things I was there for the most wasn't there, which was really bizarre. Now, Watchdog Legions, you all know out there, anyway, you long-term viewers at least know, that I was really looking forward to Watchdog Legions. And now I've, not that long finished the single player, and I'm sort of like keeping my hands fresh by staying in the multiplayer a little bit and having a footle with that, because I was wanting to be ready for the Bloodlines DLC, because I know that's coming soon, and there was a trailer release for it. But here's the weird bit. That Ubisoft show was about an hour, give or take. Nowhere in an hour was that 2-minute trailer showing. But after it was done, when I was like trying to catch up on other things going on while it was happening, while the talkie was happening, they had really put out a trailer for it online. And I'm like, but that's one of your newest games with additional content and new content coming, but you would rather talk about TV content that nobody cares about and not put that in the showcase. And the thing is, it was being shown as being published 50 minutes ago, more or less straight after I went away from the end of the end of their show, So I went looking for the post show, because the post show wasn't there. If it must be somewhere else, so I went looking for the post show somewhere else, and I couldn't see it nowhere. But the post show was actually just other people talking, unless it was like an Ubisoft thing. You have to be like an Ubisoft member to get a hold of it. I don't know. But the point of it was, I couldn't find the Ubisoft post show, and I ended up seeing that trailer. And by the way, it's a good trailer with a date, 6th of next month. So whoop whoop. Up for that. I've got the season pass, so I'll download that and have me some fun. But it wasn't in the actual showcase, and it should have been, in my opinion. So God knows what they were up to with that game. But the main thing, of course, was Riders Republic. Gotta look at Riders Republic. Thank you. And I was quite excited about that. Riders Republic were looking quite interesting. All flippy and spinny, maybe a little bit floaty. Could probably do with a little bit more focus on what you're doing. Hopefully the character creator content is strong and you can make yourself, or not. Sometimes it's nice to not be you, but it is kind of neat when you can put you in the game and have it look as much like you as possible, because that's that whole fantasy thing. It did look like it's going to need to have lots and lots and lots of content. If it doesn't have lots of content day one, then people are going to drift away from it and go, oh. So there's got to be lots of boards and bikes and parachutes and all the other paraphernalia, whatever you can ride on in that game, or have fun with, or wear, or have yourself look like, or hairstyles, whatever. There's got to be a ton here. There's got to be buttloads of content from day one, because if there's one thing gamers do is burn through content. So there's got to be a lot to see and do in that game from day one. What I did like though was the sort of hub area. I really like that. It kind of made me think of Mod Nation Racers. I like the way there was like all these sort of stalls you could walk to and then engage in the activity at that stall. Whether it be customization or race types or battles against groups of players or whatever. And I kind of think that's clever, because it says it'll be a mostly online game. It means while you're walking over to a location, the game is kind of getting a heads up about where you're going and can start to spin up, what it thinks you're headed towards. So if you're sort of like between 2 or 3 things and you're headed in a general direction, it can spin up those 3 things. And as you get closer, can drop one of the things, and as you get even closer still, can drop the last thing, and boom, no, you're not actually thinking you're getting into a loading screen, and then your thing's up and ready for you. So that, that's probably going to be quite good. And it's obviously an evolution of Steep, and I love Steep. Steep now has got a lot going for it. It's got way more modes and stuff, and way more stuff to do. Unfortunately, they're going to shut Steep down soon, but hey, nothing lasts forever, eh? And then, of course, the thing they kicked off with, which was very, very interesting, was this, was it Rainbow Six Extraction? And that game definitely looks like it's got legs. I mean, very fast paced, lots of squad talk and all the rest of it. I think there's definitely something going on there. I mean, yeah, there's definitely interestingness abound. I like the whole thing that it was originally a bunch of people who were all trying to knock 10 types of snot at each other, and now they're actually having to be all teamed up and fighting this sort of alien symbiote slime stuff that makes sort of weird black tar zombie things. It kind of reminds me a little bit of like The Last of Us, with a little bit of like Division as well. So I think that game's definitely got legs, but yet again it's going to have a lot of content from day one. There's got to be lots of weapons, lots of maps, and lots to do, because fairly soon, if you played the same map over and over and over again to gain XP and stuff, then a lot of gamers are going to lose interest. It's going to be like, I've done this like 17 times already. So there's got to be lots to do day one, otherwise that game will just fall off a cliff. And I think that's pretty much all there was of Ubisoft. I might have missed something. If I have, I apologise. But I like to think I've covered it fairly substantially. But of course, I'm always welcome to what you guys think down there in that comment section. Unless of course you're watching on a games console, then of course you can't comment. But yeah, a decent show. Could have been a bit more joined together, but at least it had those two hosts that kind of gave it a central point to come back to. A couple unnecessary talky bits, it's like a bit, that's E3, that kind of thing does happen. But on the whole, good show, good stuff in it. Good first day of proper E3. Gives me hope for the future of E3, because now that we're doing these video presentations where nothing is behind schedule, everything is on time, even though it's all live, or a lot of it's live, should hopefully mean that in years to come, when E3 is back in actual physical state, with actual people being there, that maybe we'll get tighter, more concise, better produced, live, in-person E3s. That's a nice thought to hold on to. Anyway, I think this video's creeping up on the half-hour mark, so it's probably time I shut my hole. Okay guys, you know the drill by now. Hashtag support Scottish YouTubers. And of course, as always, aye, nae bother.